So this is Chase McWhorter, Managing Director with IREI, and I'm with Kelly Sheehy and Kevin Nishimura. So obviously we kind of jumped right into it, guys, but thanks in general for taking the time to do this with us. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Yeah,
So,
thanks for having us.
So you started investing in the early 2000s. The healthcare real estate landscape has evolved significantly since then. Can you comment on the institutionalization of healthcare real estate as a niche asset class and how capital flows have increased?
I'll touch on it just in general. I think, people have been talking about for now, going over 2 decades about the graying population in the US, the growth of the senior population in the US, and really the tailwinds that come out of, that aging population. And so I think what we've seen now, especially over the last 5 years, is, in what has been an extremely volatile period, healthcare spending has continued to grow. And so while there's been a unique array of challenges over the last 5 years, one of the pieces that has been extremely stable and consistent has been, outpatient medical, which obviously is really benefiting from that aging population that is going to the doctor, 3 times more than the general population. And really what you've seen is extremely stable occupancy over the last 5-year period, even through COVID and through the sort of post-COVID recovery or reset that I think, the real estate industry has been going through. Medical has been, really a consistent cash flow oriented performer over that period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you've seen now is the rotation of a lot of investors out of traditional core of office, enclosed malls on the retail side. Those things obviously have not proven to be a resilient asset class or property type over the last, over the duration. And so you're seeing more of frankly capital flows into the niche sectors. And so for us, healthcare real estate, broadly defined, is one of those niche sectors that I think has been a huge beneficiary of that, rotation of capital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you go back to early 2000s when we started investing in healthcare. Even then we had charts showing the baby boomers coming, right? But they were really 20 years away at the time. And so fast forward to today, the baby boom, that whole growth is here. We're into the 65 to the 75-year-old range. And what we've seen with that is, we've continued to see, I'd say elevated capital flows coming in to the space, both in the medical outpatient and the seniors housing side. We'll probably talk about COVID a little bit more later. That obviously was a unique event that occurred that really impacted on the seniors, and that really affects how we view the investing across or being diversified across healthcare. But I think seeing the evolution of the demographics, data. When we started investing, there was really no data in the senior living space or broadly including the outpatient space. Seeing banks that have come into the space, we've really seen it from all kind of facets. Just like hotels, 30 years ago were relatively uninstitutional, and they've grown. They've become much more institutional from a data perspective. And we've seen the same thing now. And like Nish said, a huge component of cash coming in now is really folks cycling out of traditional office, traditional retail, and into these niche sectors that have performed over the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the point you brought up about resiliency, I think it's something we've heard a lot about. Again, the examples you brought up with office, large retail is, I think it was more efficient to put out large checks, candidly, as versus kind of the building out a resilient portfolio. So I think that's kind of something that's being reevaluated now is finding that resiliency in sometimes chaotic markets.